The Colorado Avalanche are a bit like my voice has been lately. On any given day, you just have no idea what you're going to get out of this team. On this one, it was good, but not good enough. Avs lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3 in overtime. This team can drop 7 goals on some of the best teams in the league, and then they can also struggle to score on some of the worst. It's just hard to pick out what you're going to get out of the Avs. And on the other side of the puck, they have nights where they completely lock it down defensively, and then also have ones where they just cannot keep the puck out of their own net. They can't get out of their way. And lately, they're getting punished for every single mistake. And when you play good teams, that should not surprise you. Pittsburgh is a good team, and that's kind of what happened throughout this game. The first period was very, very solid for the Avs. I thought they were the better team throughout it. The metrics were relatively even, but the Avs were getting the better quality chances, and Pittsburgh was fairly limited. From the opening faceoff, Nathan MacKinnon was absolutely flying, and he kept that up all night long, which helped the Avs a ton, even if he didn't get on the scoreboard too many times. This first period is what two good teams playing each other is supposed to look like, with minor details being the difference in the game, and that comes up late in the first when Pittsburgh takes a penalty. Obviously, the Avs power play has not been great as of late, or really other than a couple of quick games for a long stretch here. But Nathan MacKinnon and Sam Girard seem to have found something that is working. Firstly, some great work by JT Compher down in deep here to win a one-on-one puck battle, but it's more than that as well. Because it's an extended puck battle, it drags a second Penguin in as well. So Compher is able to chip it to safety to Gabe Landeskog cutting down towards the end boards. And you'll see that the Pittsburgh Penguins have fully committed to getting this puck here, as they have not only 2 below the goal line, but their third and fourth penalty killers are also essentially standing on the goal line as well. So there is no one covering the entire zone, essentially. Landeskog quickly gets it up to Sam Girard, who before he even receives the puck, look at how well he's coming in off of the blue line. Not waiting for the puck to come to him, he's being aggressive. And after collecting it, he continues to glide through and use up as much space as he can. He gets everyone on the Penguins to get puck watching, including Murray, as he loads up to fake a shot and then just dishes to Nathan MacKinnon, calling for the puck. Tons of space in the near circle. Finds himself to the Ovi, Stamkos, whatever spot you want to call it, unleashes a missile, and Murray has a 0 chance on this one. The thing about Mac this year is he's scoring in every way imaginable. You drive the net, he's able to put it on the backhand and beat goalies. He's able to get away for breakaways and beat them clean on the forehand. Wrist shots from the circles, floaters from the point, one-timers from Ovi's office. It doesn't matter how he's shooting the puck. He's finding ways to get it in the back of the net. He's still hovering just shy of a 50-goal pace on the season, and with players like Rantanen and Kadri particularly struggling to consistently score, the Avs need every single one of those goals. The Avs also did hit a post in this first period, so that's 52 posts on the season as well. Would have been big for them to score and get a 2-0 lead instead of just 1. Now, Pittsburgh did technically put the puck in the back of the net in the first period, but it was on a play where Brian Rust crashes the net. He gets into the crease. The initial shot gets saved. It comes out and gets flipped in, but Rust literally just stood in the crease. In fact, even clearly put and held his glove on Francouz as the play happened. So it was a very easy goalie interference, no goal call there. And the Avs play well. They have a 1-0 lead after 1. You take that, but it just feels like the offense can't quite get the Avs over the hump. 2-0 or finding a 2-goal lead anytime in this game could have been huge for this Avs team to help get a little bit of cushion, not as much pressure on the defense. And that's no excuse. The Avs would have a 2-1 lead at the end of the second, which we'll get to. That's a game that the Avs should win, but it helps out a lot when it's a 3-1 lead instead. The second period was rough. After a very strong first period, the Avs come out slow and Pittsburgh are in control for the majority of the period. Now, to some extent, that's fine as well. There's ebb and flow to a hockey game. Pittsburgh trailing, did not play great in the first. No surprise they come out with some jump, but when it continues to last up to upwards of 10 minutes of the way through the period and the Avs still can't seem to find their footing, that's where it becomes an issue. The Avs do also take 2 penalties in that time. They managed to kill off the first one, and it looks very strong. And then there's the second one, which there were a couple of dangerous opportunities, but the Avs do manage to kill it technically. Unfortunately, the Avs aren't able to possess the puck as the penalty ends, though, and it winds up in the back of their net. The power play has just expired as the Penguins get the puck back to the point, and a shot gets thrown towards the net. Ian Cole is going to block the shot, and it's going to ricochet out hard towards the far point. And you can see a little bit of discombobulation, communication errors, or just outright confusion here as both Calvert and Cole step out to chase this puck, leaving nothing down deep in the zone, particularly defending the back door. So this leaves a bit of an awkward situation as EJ is still not in the play. So it's still really a penalty kill situation, and the Avs have 3 players stacked up, lined up on the far side of the ice. Belmar isn't exactly sure what to do here. He kind of gets caught drifting instead of covering back in on the back side, and that leaves just enough of a room for a slap pass to sneak all the way through to Teddy Bluger, and he just has to throw it upstairs to finish the play. So there were some errors there, but I wouldn't say anything unbelievably egregious. It can be cleaned up. You can do things a little bit more coherently, but you take 2 penalties, you have a struggle of a half of a period, and sometimes those goals get scored on you. Again, this is where I go back to the offense giving them a little bit more cushion. But that play was really not the bigger issue in this game, and we'll get to that in the third period. Through this second period, the goal does seem to wake the Avs up a little bit. Play does seem to even out, so that is a plus. And the vast majority of the time, this game goes into the second intermission tied 1-1. But for some reason, however it happens, the Avs, well, they do technically score a goal. When you're hot, you're hot. Sam Girard is going to pick up a point on this play by simply just dishing a puck to Gabe Landeskog right there in his own zone, maybe 15 feet away. Landeskog is going to do some dipsy doodling to get this puck under his control out into the neutral zone. And after gaining the red line, he's just going to say, you know what? Our line needs to change here. Let me just flip this puck in. We'll safely get off. Nothing risky. He does so. It bounces in and somehow through Matt Murray. That's pretty lucky. Sure, Murray could have played it better, gotten himself set instead of sliding across, so when the puck bounces the opposite direction, he can probably still cover it. But as the Avs, you don't complain, you take those. A very silly way to be up by a goal after 2, but hey, if the Avs can play well through the third, this is a game they can call a W. They do not. Again, they have an opportunity. Gabe Landeskog on essentially a partial breakaway has an opportunity to give them a 2-goal lead. Matt Murray makes the save. A bit later, Pittsburgh comes down, and this is where the defense just falls apart. So the Avs get caught with 4 players deep in the offensive zone, but some great hustle by Makar and McKinnon helps negate what could have been a 2-on-1 initially. The problem is the puck finds Malkin, and he's given just way too much room to walk right down the middle of the ice initially. Still, Francouz comes up with the initial save here. You can see both the trailers go for Malkin here. There is no communication. There's just none on the back check. So everyone on the Avs is crashing down in extremely deep. You can see Landeskog even bites it and takes off, flying towards the end boards out of this play. Francouz, while making the save, gives up a massive rebound right out through the slot. None of the Avs are able to react, and you can see this even takes Cale Makar out of the play because of the discombobulation of the back checkers. Ryan Graves also gets knocked down and thrown in towards the boards, so the Avs are just in complete chaos here as a puck gets picked up in their high slots because everyone is totally out of the play. There's a ton of room for Russ to walk into on this near side. He doesn't even get that down deep. This is the top of the circles, and it's a good shot. Credit where credit's due, but he goes 5-hole. Francouz has already given up 1 juicy rebound on this play, and then he lets a puck slip through him. You just can't have it. Everything about that play was a gigantic mess. You could probably go back and watch it 5, 6, 7 times and find something new that went wrong every single time. In my opinion, that's one where you gotta come up with a save. Your defense certainly did not play it well, but your defense isn't going to play everything perfectly. The goaltender's job is to stop shots exactly like that one. I do think the game got back to fairly even from there. The Avs would get another power play opportunity 6 minutes into the third. They did go 1 for 3 on the night, which is fine. That's a decent stat line, but again, no big goal for the Avs. They just can't find it right now. You get into the second half of the third period, and this game was screaming for overtime, and it would eventually get there, just not the way that I was expecting. First, the Avs defense has to make another major mistake. The Penguins are coming through the neutral zone. Let's call it 3-on-3 here with Rust carrying the puck, and he's going to get into the zone by just throwing it to the side where Cahoon is going to be able to pick it up. And you can see there's 4 Avs back now. The Avs have the numbers defensively, so I don't really see any excuse for how this happens. Firstly, you have Girard going to take the puck carrier. That's perfectly fine. Belmar is sticking with the man coming down the middle in Rust to cover back. That's also great. Then you have Landeskog kind of coasting, sticking here, and EJ kind of just guarding nothing. Maybe he's trying to double up on Rust coming down the middle, but then Belmar needs to peel off. He doesn't. Landeskog just gets caught completely floating off into nowhere, as does EJ. Of the 4 players back for the Avs, 2 of them are covering absolutely nothing, which leaves Malkin wide open to first receive a pass, and then because Belmar was extremely late in cutting back and taking the high man, he has ton of room to walk into, and Malkin just fires a shot. And he's Evgeny Malkin. He's really good at hockey. This one does go bar and in, a perfect shot from a great player. I just don't understand what's going on here. We're over halfway through the season. There is no excuse for anyone on the Avs to not know what their job is, whether it's back-checking or setting up the defense against a zone entry. Leaving anyone that much room to work with is a problem. With Sidney Crosby out, Evgeny Malkin is Pittsburgh's best player on the ice, and you leave that much room for him? No, you just cannot be doing that. And here we go again. With less than 5 minutes to go in the third period, it looks like the Avs are about to blow another third period lead. And I do feel like just showing the highlights here doesn't do this game justice because the Avs played well. They just have their mistakes continuously showing up on the highlight reels because it's mistake after mistake after mistake that compound on singular plays. It's not one player making a mistake and then everyone else doing what they need to do and adjusting. It's, oh, Gabe Landeskog wiped out. Oh, and then he ran into Cale Makar. And Ryan Graves also wiped out. And then Francouz gave up a huge rebound. And then he couldn't make the second save. There's a calamity of errors going on in these specific plays. That's what they have to prevent. But thankfully, before this game, I had created an article that talked about how the Avs have not scored on the empty net man advantage this season. So, of course, they proved me wrong. A bit of a broken play here as Makar holds the puck in at the blue line, but he almost turns it over and ends the game as he tries to fire a shot that gets blocked right in front of him. Thankfully, he's able to lift a stick and keep the play alive just long enough for Nuke to come in and just shovel it down deep. This is not clean hockey, but it ends up working as Burakovsky is able to collect the puck and then find some space for himself on the half wall. From there, he's controlling the play and just gets enough room to eventually get this puck back up to Cale Makar, who's found some space in the center of the ice as Pittsburgh has cheated off of the point. So Makar just fires a shot through here. This time, after not getting the first shot through anyone, this one gets all the way through, and it's a great job by Matt Calvert on the side here to just get his stick out in front. You can't even see it because it's behind a Penguin, but a perfect tip, and somehow, some way, the Avs tie it up. On the one hand, that is the exact type of play it takes to get a point out of a game. Greasy, dirty, certainly not pretty, but the puck ends up in the back of the net. On the other hand, the Avs should have never put themselves in that situation in the first place. But it is what it is, and they do their best with what they have to get the game to overtime and get that 1 point. And then overtime was just kind of a mess for the Avs. The Avs don't seem to know what to do. These days, 3-on-3 is a lot slower than it used to be. It's very focused on puck possession. You don't want to take a shot unless it has a high percentage chance of scoring. And the Avs are trying to treat it like a rush back and forth game like it used to be, which often just leads to them not really getting much and eventually turning a puck over. So Pittsburgh controls the majority of the overtime. The Avs do get a couple of great chances. Burakovsky and Cale Makar had a 2-on-1 that looked extremely promising, and then Burakovsky just biffed it and they don't even get a shot on net. Ultimately, the difference ends up being that the Avs just cannot get a save. I do want to clarify something a little bit here, because this is essentially a 2-on-2. Kadri is the high forward, and you can even see he's looking at the third Penguin. He's basically showing body language that that third Penguin is the man he's taking. So that leaves the two players defending, EJ to take his side and Compher to take the far side of the ice in this 2-on-2 situation. Compher does a fine job taking his man off of that side. EJ does not. He just continues backpedaling, gets caught leaving just way too much of a gap here that makes a very easy pass across as it ends up coming right to the middle and McCann. And this is the exact same shot that Brian Rust had, maybe a touch more of a screen with EJ in front here, but it's the exact same thing, and the exact same thing happens. It just goes right through Francouz. Gotta make a save. Avs continue to find ways to lose games. They did at least manage to get the point out of this one, though, so maybe that's a baby step in the right direction. But I get it. The similarities, same time of year as last season, where the Avs just could not get a decent start out of a goaltender. That's concerning. But the reason I'm not worried about that as much this season is because, one, we know the goaltenders, particularly Grubauer, are better than this and is capable of turning it around. And two, as I said, we don't know which version of the Avs is going to show up on every given night. And in general, the Avs are a better team than this. So while it's incredibly frustrating that they're not playing like it currently, that's why I'm still pumping the brakes on panic time. I can feel my voice starting to go already, and I have the luxury of not needing to play a full 60 like the Avs do, so we will call it there and say this is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching, and head on over to thednvr.com and consider signing up for a membership to help support us. I am Rudo, and yeah, goalies, you get paid to save shots.